I'm seeing green card interviews scheduled in 2 months, and people still waiting a year after for approval. Here's what's actually happening in 2026. Because the timeline most people think they understand is no longer accurate. If you just got married and you're trying to get your spouse a green card, the part that blindsides almost every couple is not the interview and it's not the forms, it's the waiting and the small mistakes that quietly add months. And more importantly, it's relying on outdated expectations. Because in 2026, cases are moving faster in some stages and slower in other stages. Hi, I'm immigration attorney Julia Sverdloff. Let's get into this. Step 1, get your documents ready. This is where you either move fast or you quietly delay your case before it even starts. If USCIS asks for something later, that's a request for evidence, and that adds 3 to 6 months instantly. Here's what you need: marriage certificate, birth certificate, proof the petitioner lives in the United States, passport, visa, I-94, and proof that your marriage is real. Photos over time, joint lease or mortgage, joint bank accounts, insurance, tax returns, shared bills. Here's what most people miss: divorce decrees, proper translations, medical exam, Form I-693. In 2026, USCIS expects the medical filed with the case. If you skip it, you're not saving time, you're adding months or a rejection. Step 2, file the application. If the petitioner is a U.S. citizen, you typically file I-130, I-485, I-765, and I-131 altogether. Most couples are looking at about $2,500 to $3,000 in government filing fees. Here's where people lose time. USCIS requires separate payments for each form. In 2026, we had seen a shift away from paper checks. DHS now requires payment authorization forms using ACH debit or credit card. If that's done wrong account, missing authorization, improper payment structure, the entire case gets rejected. And the rejection does not mean delay, it means your case was never filed. I recently saw a case rejection over a payment structure alone, not inability to pay, just submitted incorrectly. That cost the couple over a month immediately. After filing, our receipt notices usually arrive in about 2 to 4 weeks. Step 3, biometrics, a fingerprint and a photo. This notice comes about 2 weeks after filing. An appointment itself takes about 30 minutes. Do not miss it. Rescheduling can delay your case for months. Step 4, work permit and travel. This is where the anxiety kicks in. Bills are real, life is happening, and your spouse may not be able to work yet. Here's what changed in 2026. USCIS used to issue one combo card, work and travel together. Now we're seeing them handled separately, and travel documents often take longer. But here's the bigger shift. I'm seeing adjustment of status interviews scheduled extremely fast. Across the United States, especially in Illinois, as early as 2 months after receipt notices. Because of that, work permits often don't arrive before the interview, or they arrive too late to matter. I've had clients approved before USCIS even finished processing their EAD. People are still planning financially around a work permit that may never arrive in time. If your plan depends on that, it's already outdated. Do not build your finances around fast EAD timelines. Expedites are possible in real emergencies, like a documented job offer, but they're not guaranteed. Step 5, the interview. This is the key moments. USCIS is verifying your marriage is real. You'll be asked about how you met, your daily life, your home, your finances, and recent activities. If something feels off, you may be separated and questioned individually. Scrutiny is high now. Officers are watching for consistency and even reviewing online presence. And this is important. Faster does not mean easier. Cases are moving faster to interview, but not faster to approval. What you bring matters. You need updated evidence, not what your life looked like when you filed, but what it looks like now. Updated lease, updated bank statements, updated insurance, new photos, utility bills. Step 6, the decision. Sometimes you're approved at the interview. Sometimes the officer reviews and mails the decision, historically about 2 to 4 weeks. But in 2026, we're seeing longer delays after interviews, more vetting, more background checks. Even if everything goes well, approval may not be immediate. If USCIS issues a request for evidence after the interview, add another 2 to 4 months. And if your marriage is under 2 years, you receive a conditional green card. The honest timeline in 2026. Document prep 3 to 6 weeks, receipt notices and biometrics about 2 to 4 weeks, interviews in some cases as fast as 2 to 6 months. But final approvals can still take longer. Fast to interview, slow to finish. What slows you down? Missing documents at 3 to 6 months, wrong payment structure, prior immigration issues, background checks. Here's a case example. One couple came in fully prepared, joint taxes, strong documentation, medical filed up front, filed in January, biometrics in February, interview in October, approved before Thanksgiving. 11 months total. That's not luck, that's preparation. If you're going through this process right now, do not assume the timeline you see online applies to your case. 2026 is different. And if you want to do this once correctly and not lose months fixing avoidable mistakes, make sure you're working with someone who actually sees these things and patterns in real time. I'll see you in the next video.